Boom, welcome back everyone to the 20th episode of the Extra Attacker podcast. I actually know what the episode number is this week, and I'd like to welcome a special guest today, Jeffrey Hale. Welcome, Jeff, to the podcast for the first time ever.
I'm a special guest now?
Yeah.
That's
No, I'm
all
just
I am?
kidding. You're a regular host. You've been here every
Oh,
time.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. It just, special 20th episode. I wanted to try and make it special off right there.
Fair.
But
That's fair.
all I had to work with was you. So
You poor thing.
I'm kidding. You actually did some amazing work today and got us some very good material, good stuff. And we do have a special guest just in photo form today, but we'll get to that later.
We'll get there.
But holy
Number
cow.
one, how are you this week, my friend?
I'm good. Just lots of playoff hockey, and I'm definitely feeling better than anyone else, any of the players who have just been smashed, dashed, diced, and sliced all across the board. That was hard to say.
Yeah. It's every year, like, we kind of know going into the playoffs that it's going to be a different game. It's going to be more intense. People are going to kill themselves and run each other into the boards, but, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because maybe I feel this way at the beginning of every playoffs as we're getting into it, but I feel like it's more intense than usual.
Well, the refs are letting a lot more go right now, and you need to look no further than the Montreal-Washington series to see that. Boom!
Dude, every series I could look at and find examples of it. But anyway.
Wait, hold on. I've got my OV stick right here. I've got my OV stick.
There we
go. I will do a demonstration. Boom. No, why is the arm up? There is no arm up.
No, that was me holding my face because I got hit and putting the arm up like, what the hell, where's my call? That wasn't the penalty.
The refs wish they were blind so they could have an excuse. LASIK is continuing to put out, hey, free LASIK for any NHL referee, still on the table.
Yeah. Every time they come out with that, I'm like, this is the best marketing scheme you could come up with.
Because, the $200,000 plus salary the refs on, they can't afford it. They really need it for free.
It's true. Well, what about that Ovi watch?
Who cares? He's still scoring, but he finally got his first overtime playoff goal.
Was that this week?
Yeah, technically no playoff games had happened when we streamed last week. Oh
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
We had yet to stream, so it was that was the first thing. So Ovi watch, yet another goal bucket list item checked off the list for him. Pretty cool.
I was mostly being sarcastic since he already broke the record, but we could talk about that. Ovechkin. Like, was that game one? I think it was either game one or game two. I think it was game one.
I think it was game one.
But Montreal, Washington goes into overtime. The announcers, they put a graphic on the screen. They're making a big deal. Like, Ovechkin, he's done all this stuff. He's so good, but he's never scored a game-winning overtime goal in the playoffs. And like 5 seconds later, he puts one in to end the game. And I'm just sitting there as they're talking about it. I look at Chase, my roommate, and I go, "Wouldn't it just be poetic?" And then 5 seconds later, he does it. I'm like, "Yep, there it is."
Yeah. Like, it's not even that fun anymore because it's just so predictable. Like, we know what's going to happen now. There's no surprise to it.
It's true.
We know it just as much as we know Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father. We know Ovechkin is going to score whatever milestone goals he still needs to. But at this point, the only one left is to score 900 regular season goals, which he'll do next year.
Speaking of Darth Vader, did you know Star Wars Episode 3 is in theaters yesterday and today?
I did.
I went and saw it after work yesterday.
Congratulations.
It was awesome to be able to go see that in theaters again.
I bet.
Brought me back to when I was 12.
I was volunteering. So I could not.
Doing what?
Cleaning up some yard for some place. I don't know what they do. I just got recruited into it. And I'm like, all right, I'll come pick up some sticks. They gave us fruit snacks. It was great. Anyway.
Yeah, that's fair trade.
Anyway, back to
Anyway.
hockey. Cool
Yes.
other thing this week. Big Gabe. He's back, baby.
Oh, Captain, my Captain, Gabriel Landeskog. I was there. There comes a point where it had been so long. I was starting to think he was never going to come back. They kept saying he was. They kept saying, "Look at how well he's progressing." At some point, it's like you've been gone long enough. Hang it up, dude. You're done. Nah, he came. He saw. He
And he
played. He
wrecked.
didn't quite conquer, but he did very, very well. Yeah.
Wrecked
6
Ranton in
hits.
first shift.
Yeah, and a blocked shot. In that first shift, he just, oh, hey, Miko, hey, wait, why aren't you wearing our jersey anymore? Okay, see ya. Bang, put him down. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. We'll get on that later. I have some notes on that, but it was very cool to see him. I do want to share a fun fact about that, though. Gabriel Landeskog is the only third captain ever in NHL history to miss more than 2 years, to come back after missing more than 2 years of play. The only other time that has happened was in the 1940s because two of them went off to war.
Yep.
And then they came back and started playing again. But this is the third time it's happened. Gabriel Landeskog didn't go and fight in a world war, but he certainly fought a war of health.
Yeah, they were talking about that during the game, and they put that graphic on the screen. You know, there have only been 3 captains that have missed over 1,000 games and came back. His was the only photo that was in color.
Yep.
The other 2 were black and white photos.
The other 2 were portrait paintings hanging in Buckingham Palace. This was back when Lord Stanley was first forging the cup. When he had his smithy. When he had his smithy round up some old scrap family heirlooms to melt the silver down for and create the mug that the players would compete over.
I wonder. I don't know why that just got my brain going. But if you were to melt down the Stanley Cup, like how much silver do you have?
A lot. The thing's like 40 pounds.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm curious.
it's not
Anyway.
pure silver, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Landeskog came back. He's doing well.
Brandon Hagel, however, or I should say Alexander Barkov, not doing so well thanks to Brandon Hagel.
Well, Alexander Barkov, as of this morning on NHL.com here. Let me double check to confirm. Where'd it go? I
Speaking
saw it
to your
literally
mic.
5 minutes ago. And
You're very quiet.
I saw it like 5 minutes ago, but like the headline's now missing. I don't know what happened. But I saw a headline.
That he could
Barkov's
play?
not even gonna miss any time.
Yeah, no, you just gotta scroll down a little bit. It's in the top stories list.
Is it? So it was up on that front page there, but yeah, there it is. Barkov and Panthers line up in game 3. Yeah. So for anybody who didn't see it, I'm just gonna
Classic
get on
Panthers just flopping.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on a mini soapbox here. We have been hit with like 5 copyright strikes. We're not even taking the NHL's videos. We're literally using videos from other creators. 110%.
Well, I mean, when it's Sportsnet, that is technically the NHL's video. To be fair.
Well, yeah, but we're not showing this video. But now that it's on screen, we're gonna get hit with another copyright strike.
No, we're not. We'd have to play it. Images don't count.
Well, neither does 10 seconds of a video when it is transformative and used for commentary purposes, but legally that doesn't matter. For anybody who's never explored the copyright system, anybody can claim it for any reason. You can then appeal. And the way that works is it goes back to the person who claimed it, and they are the ones who decide the appeal. Make that make sense. So the NHL has come down and said, hey, we use their content. We said, no, we didn't. So YouTube says, okay, we'll send it back to the NHL so they can make a decision. Now I have to wait 30 days so that I can file a formal appeal with YouTube.
Hooray.
So we're not going to be showing that video until I can find a way around it, because it's very clear that they are breaking the law. We are not, and I'm pissed about it. So we will not be showing the video, so you'll have to look up the video for yourself.
Yep.
But Barkov took a hit from Brandon Hagel. Was there a
Haggy.
penalty that should have been called? 100%. Yes. Should have been a penalty. Should it have been a major penalty? Going along with what has and has not been called in that series? No. Absolutely not. That was very inconsistent. Could it have resulted in a one-game suspension? This is getting ridiculous. You guys know how much I hate Florida. Why do I hate Florida so much? It's because of this crap. They are coddled more than I have ever seen. They are the most dirty and underhanded team. Nothing gets called against them. And now all of a sudden we're going to suspend one of the top players for the other team to make sure that they can continue on their role. It's ridiculous.
However, the other team is also Florida team. So is it really favoritism?
Yes. It's
enough.
favoritism for the Florida Panthers.
Fair enough. I mean, hey,
Yes.
we got to have our Edmonton, Florida rematch, okay? It's got to happen, and so it's...
Yeah, I'm jumping off before I get going too much, but...
Well, let's talk about your boy. Let's talk about your
My
boy,
boy.
Kirill the Thrill.
I've been high on this kid for years.
Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do it.
Only if you're going to do Kirill, you can do Kirill.
Or you'll get suspended for 20 games like Aaron Ekblad.
Ooh, yeah, and he comes back too. That's woo.
Yeah.
Kirill, yes, that's what we're talking about. Kirill Kaprizov. Obviously, we've only been doing this for this season. I kind of can tell you. For 3 years now, I'm like, hey, don't sleep on Minnesota. Kirill Kaprizov, I think, is an underrated player. I think he's very quietly in that top echelon of players. When everybody thinks, who are the top players in the league? You're naming McDavid, you're naming Draisaitl, you're naming McKinnon, you're naming Kucherov. Not saying any of those players shouldn't be in there. 100% they should. In my experience, it tends to be, well, what about Kirill Kaprizov? Oh, yeah, I guess you could probably put him up there. I don't think most people don't think he deserves to be. I think most people just forget.
Well, because he's injured half the season. He's made of glass.
That's his problem. Is he
Rick
gets injured
DiPietro is more healthy than he is half the time.
Frederick Anderson is more healthy than he is.
Yeah, exactly. That's
there you go. There you go.
Well, he's the modern Rick DiPietro. Okay.
Yeah. But Kaprizov, he was tied for first in points with 7 and goals with 4. As of last night, he's fallen out of being tied for first in both. Adrian Kempe now has 9 points, but he's 7 points, so tied for second behind Kempe. But that game, if I'm correct, has played one more game in that series. I could be wrong. Goals still tied for the lead. Kid's killing it. Coming back from injury and just embarrassing people. Skating through people like they're standing still. I will die on the hill that Kirill Kaprizov is one of the most underrated. I'm not saying he's the best player in the league. He is one of the most disrespected and underrated players in this league.
Disrespected. I wouldn't say disrespected. Underrated.
I do.
I don't think.
I think he's disrespected because people just are not giving him the credit he deserves, and he's become an afterthought. I think that is a level of disrespect.
Okay. I don't think he's disrespected. I just think he's on a team that isn't a big team, and he's injured half the time, and so he doesn't put up the volume of points that the other ones do. And so that's kind of what you need to be given that kind of attention. is the volume. The quality is there. It's just not.
Yeah,
He doesn't
the
have the volume.
quality and the rate, I think, is what he does best at, because he does miss a lot of time.
Yeah, because
But
if we look at exactly, like this year, he only played 41 games.
yeah,
He's had
so that's
one
exactly
almost a
half
full
the
season.
season. Yeah, exactly half the season with 41. So double. Obviously it doesn't always exactly work out like that, but like double his points and everything. He's got 50 goals, 62 assists for what is that? 116 points.
112.
Is that 56? Okay, looks like 58 on my screen. But still, 112 points with 50 goals. We now have two 50-goal scorers this year. 112 points. What did? No, I don't want playoffs. I want regular season points. Kucherov 121, Nathan McKinnon 116. So now all of a sudden he's third in the league in points this year,
Mm-hmm.
ahead of people like Draisaitl and Pasternak.
Well, if you're gonna let Kaprizov have a full 82 games, then you have to let these other guys also have a full 82 games. So
Well, sure, yeah,
but
yeah.
but that, like you're saying, he's then exactly around them. Like he's essentially tied with all of them. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, like
that conversation.
And that's why I say I think he's definitely underrated, but he's not
Yeah.
disrespected because he doesn't have the volume.
Yeah. I think at that point that's just a difference of terms, but I think we're mostly on the same. Ow, why does my ankle itch so bad? But yeah, no. Kucherov. What? No, I just read his name. We're not talking about him. Kaprizov. It's my brain is not braining this morning. Kaprizov, underrated, killing it right now. But that's on the offensive side of the puck. Who's killing it right now on the defensive side of the puck?
Cam Fowler and Pavel. Well, Cam Fowler in defense for a defenseman, technically speaking.
Well, not here.
I don't know who. Okay, goaltending is not defense. Okay,
It's not defense. It's the defensive side of the puck.
That's still a defenseman on the
No.
puck stopping side of things. No. No.
Come on, I'm trying to give you a segue. Follow our notes, bro.
And you talk to me like it's defenseman. Anyway, it's Sergei Bobrovsky is absolutely killing it. I mean, just look at the stats. If we look at goals against, it's Sergei. If we look at saves percentage, it's Sergei. If we look at shutouts, even it's Sergei. But also Freddie Anderson. He's also doing quite well.
Yeah.
The person you wanted to talk about, Freddie Anderson.
Yeah. I put the notes together before last night's games because I was out last night. So Freddie Anderson is currently, according to our notes, leading in goals against and save percentage, both of which he's been passed by Bob.
Well,
because
actually,
Bob played last night.
No, and Bob didn't play last night. It was Anderson who played last night.
Really?
Anderson actually dropped. Yeah, because they had game 3. Carolina.
Ooh,
had game 3 last night.
See, I have to
Today
think
is
about it
Florida,
when I don't get to
game
watch
3.
the games, and I just have to remember them.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm here to correct your stats, so that
Sure.
then the commentary you meant to say, you can just tweak slightly so it's truthful. That's my purpose in being here.
It is. Wait a minute. Why does your NHL doesn't even put Akira Schmid in first place?
Because for some reason they have to have played for 30 minutes or more on mine.
Weird. Yeah, I'm gonna send you a screenshot here, straight up my NHL.com.
I don't know.
It also might be because I'm just using the homepage version and you're in the whole breakdown version.
Yeah, like I'm in the actual stats.
Yeah.
Page. That's probably why. Because here it means that they actually have to have played for enough time.
Yeah.
Which is why I was like, get that Akira Schmid crap out of here.
Yeah.
Came in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, Bobrovsky, we expect playoff Bob to show up. That's nothing special. Freddie Anderson. Dude's killing it right now. I think we all expected that the Canes were going to win that series. But just watching those games, it's a lot on the ice, and what we're seeing play-wise, it's a lot closer than I expected that it was going to be. And he is keeping them in some of these games.
Also,
Look at that
can
lettuce.
I just interject? Well, can I just interject and ask a very important question that is very relevant? What is bigger, his head, his forehead, or his hair? My goodness.
Can I ask a follow-up question to that? What is bigger, his forehead or Peyton Manning's forehead?
Well, Peyton Manning will win every day, so
Of course,
that's not even a question.
Yeah. I mean, you could land a plane on Peyton Manning's forehead.
Maybe even a jet.
Oh. You could land a Winnipeg.
I was thinking New York, but I also didn't know if that would actually work as a joke because I don't know if he has any kind of connection to the Jets. Anywho, off topic.
No. Yes.
Frederick Anderson doing great. He did let in the double overtime goal last night, so that's very sad, very unfortunate.
But after 4.5 periods, I'll give him a pass for being a little tired. I'm okay with that.
9. No. Yeah.
No, Freddie Anderson, I think he missed. It was at least 30 games this year with injury. He's another one. He's a glass cannon. He's always constantly injured. But coming back in the playoffs, I think he is kind of that glue that if he wasn't playing well or he got injured, I think Carolina immediately is out. But if he's able to continue
they don't have anyone else.
Exactly. But if he's able to continue to play at that level, they've got a shot to go further into this playoff run.
I have him going to the conference finals.
You do or don't?
I do. That's what
I don't remember how far I've got him going. I'd have to look, but
yeah. All I know is they're definitely beating New Jersey. New Jersey got lucky last night.
Yep. I don't know if I ended up saying it, but I didn't think any of these series were going to end up in a sweep. I figured even the losing team was going to take one game in each series. So I'm really not surprised that
Ottawa may prove you wrong.
Yeah, I know. But you mentioned Pavel Buchnevich. Why'd you mention him? What's he doing?
Oh, he's making Hellebuck look like a clown.
He's making Hellebuck look hella bad.
Heyo. Got him. Yeah. Hattie in game 3. Hellebuck's actually he's not even in the save percentage top 10. He's not in the goals against top 10.
He ain't nothing, dude.
He's nothing. It's kind of unfortunate.
It's really interesting.
Playoff Hellebuck's coming through, and it's giving St. Louis a chance. Winnipeg, when they're playing their game, they just But yeah, Pavel is just doing good things for St. Louis, keeping them alive.
Yeah. St. Louis is unfortunately looking really good. So I'm hoping Winnipeg will shut that down.
I wouldn't say it's really good, but
tell us a little bit about the Oilers last night.
Well, we almost
Calvin Pickard. Jean-Luc Calvin Picard was in net.
Pickles. Yeah, just to kind of switch things around, as unfoundedly Skinner's have been receiving a lot of hate, a lot of the blame for the Oilers' unfortunate first couple games success. And despite everything, Calvin Pickard came in. He played fine. He played well enough to get us the win. But the Oilers also scored 7 goals. Yeah.
We were
Calvin Pickard still let in 4 goals. So there's the goaltending still a struggle, but there's a lot more that we can break down there. But Yeah,
Yeah.
Pickard started game 3, got the win. The Oilers won, stayed alive, didn't go down 3-0, which is good. It's very good.
Yeah.
Kind of important, because at the end of the second period last night, Los Angeles was up 4-3, and I switched on to this jersey, and that changed everything. I had my
wearing that jersey every game now.
Yeah, no. For the rest of the LA series, at the very least, this is the jersey I'm wearing. Because the other 2 games, I've either worn my other jersey or my Oilers golf shirt. Lost them both, and we were losing while I was wearing the other jersey. So this is the jersey. Clearly, that made the difference. They were inspired, and yeah, I have a lot of control over the outcome. Mm-hmm.
It's true. Sports fans are the most superstitious people on the planet. It's a real thing.
It's so
but
true.
yeah, like I was telling you before we started, I was out last night. I got to watch, I think it was the whole third period. Yeah, it was the whole third period while we were out at a restaurant after the comedy show. So when you're out eating and watching the game on your phone, it's kind of hard to like watch it more intently and from an analytical standpoint. From what I saw, there was nothing great or nothing bad about Pickard's performance. I think he did good enough to keep him in the game from what I was seeing.
Mm-hmm.
There was one goal that he got 5 hold on that it was a little tricky, but at the same time it's like, okay, you should have been able to stop that, but wasn't egregiously bad. So okay, everybody's gonna make mistakes. But yeah, I want to focus a little bit more on the Stuart Skinner situation. And I've said it on this podcast before, my opinion on Stuart Skinner. I think he gets tons and tons and tons of hate that he doesn't deserve.
That's just Oilers fans. That we do that to all our players.
Yeah. I may even go on record and say he might be getting not the most hated, the most unnecessarily hated player in the league. Because of everything is his fault. Every time a goal goes in, it's because he sucks. And it's, watching game 1, was it 6 goals or something? 2 of them were knuckle pucks that nobody's going to stop regardless of what happens.
With one of them having a player jump right in front of his face as the shot's coming. And like he can only guess. All he can do is guess. And the place the puck went was completely opposite to everything that you could possibly have guessed and every natural instinct that you have.
Exactly. Yeah, that's my point. So 2 of them were like that. But it's his fault. One of them, Arvidsson, just handed the puck behind the net to the Kings. And he's on the opposite side of the net. What is he supposed to do? Another one, Bouchard hands the puck to the Kings in front of the net.
To Kempe.
Yeah. Like, why are we blaming? Sure, statistically, he let those 4 goals in, but there's nothing he could have done about those. Those are not his fault.
Even Bobrovsky would maybe save 1, max 2 of all of those situations. Like, you're maybe getting 1 extra save.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and I said it to you, and I said it before. They're not Skinner's fault, but he does have to have more. That is the nature of the position, and I'm going to fully accept that. Like, in order to win, you have to have your goalie get some of those.
Yes.
Now, Skinner is not elite. He's good. He can sometimes be great. He has done enough to prove to me he can be the guy. But let's stop being the Edmonton Santa Claus. Just because we're the most northern team doesn't mean we have to pretend like we are the fat man at the North Pole, giving out gifts to the Kings where they have 3 to 4 seconds close with their top goal scorers with all the time in the world to pick their corner with no obstacles. I'm sorry.
I was wondering where the Santa Claus thing was going.
Because I'm pretty sure that was an analogy that Coach Chris Knobloch used, where in a press conference after game 2, he's like, we need to stop just gifting them goals. Like, we're not Santa Claus here.
That's amazing.
Like,
oh, that's so good.
Yeah. Like,
that's so good.
Like, it's not, let's maybe blame the defense first. If we can, because like there's people like Gorgiev whom had defense, but still couldn't make a save.
Mm-hmm.
if the only chances that the goalie's facing is grade A gifts, I'm sorry. I don't think it's his fault. I think a rusty team full of injuries are the ones at fault first, but of course would never complain about McDavid or Nugent Hopkins.
Well, and it's one of those things, like you said, that he's good, he can be great. I think we'd be lying to ourselves if we said that he's perfect and Edmonton could not do better and improve in goal. They could, 100%.
I mean, there's no one available, so if someone was available, sure, but no, you're not going to get better right now.
But my point is, just to try to put it on a numeric scale, if you gave Stuart Skinner a 5, he's only a 5 out of 10. Okay, you could do better than a 5 out of 10. But your defense is a 2 out of 10. So where's the real problem?
He's playing about as well as Vasilevsky and Hellebuck right now. So
yeah, that says something. Says something.
Okay.
So I feel bad for the guy. I know, as I did a little bit more looking into him this week, a little bit more.
And you found out that I'm actually wrong, and it's not just the games that are his fault. So much else is his fault.
It's true. It's true.
What I was going to go the hate.
What I was going to go for before we transition into that, though.
Oh, okay. I take back everything I said.
You're good. But just back on that note, I feel bad for him because I found out that he struggles deeply with anxiety. He's got real bad mental health issues. And so for him to have to deal with that,
what?
And I know. That was a surprise to me. I found a couple articles about it. But
how recent were these articles? Because I know that was something he had to deal with in junior and had to move past.
I don't know. I didn't dive
deep into
the articles, but it's one of those things that if he dealt with it then, he deals with it now. It may not be as bad now, but for somebody like that, anybody getting unnecessary hate's not cool, but for somebody like that, that's got to be real hard for him. And, he gets out of game one, all these things that weren't his fault. He's doing what he can. Some of those saves that he made, dude's standing on his head, keep Oilers in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Still get out there. He's getting booed, and everybody in the media and all the fans and everybody online, Stuart Skinner sucks, replace Stuart Skinner. That's going to make him do worse because now he feels like crap. And then imagine... It's not even his fault, but we're going to pull him, play Pickard, and all of a sudden the Oilers win. Again, logically and objectively, it wasn't because of the goalie change. But how is that going to make you feel?
Actually,
that's giving ammunition to all the haters. That sucks.
That there's actually proof that it helps him.
Really?
The best example is just look last year at the Vancouver series. First couple games, Skinner did not play well. Objectively, he did not play well. So they put in Pickard for games. It was either games 3 and 4 or 4 and 5.
Oh, like that, yeah.
And after those couple games, they put Skinner back in. Skinner was a beast the rest of the playoffs. And it's usually Skinner's skill and his strength has always been his ability to bounce back after a setback. It just sometimes he needs a little time to reset, little time to do that, but then he always comes back. So this, I'm not worried about when he comes back about his ability. It's just sometimes you need to give him the chance to reset, to calm down, and just
That's fair.
Collect himself.
That's fair. But yeah, I feel bad for him, but. Again, as much as a lot of those goals aren't his fault, there are a lot of things, as Kynan alluded to. There are a lot of things that are his fault. He's getting the unnecessary hate for all these goals. We're completely missing these other things.
They're really a cover. It's conspiracy, really.
It's true. And that brings us to this week's long anticipated, long awaited. It has been a long time since we've had a 5+1.
It's
things that are Stuart Skinner's fault.
Yeah, 5 plus because it's Skinner. We have to pull the goalie and have one more thing there. But
think of that. Pull the goalie makes more sense this time.
Yeah, I mean you always got to be pulling the goalie to get the extra attacker out. But if it's Skinner, we're pulling.
Now it makes even more sense.
More sense.
Yes. All right, kind of. What is Stuart Skinner's fault?
Well, and
What's
I have proof from last night that this one is true. Okay, this isn't just your research that you did. This one I have personal experience. But not coming in at number 5 for the top 5 things that are Stuart Skinner's fault. Your stream buffering, that's his fault. Anytime your stream buffers, anytime that happens, it is his fault. And right before the Oilers scored their first empty net goal last night, my stream just cut out and buffered, which the point that happened at was when Hyman was checking Doughty at the blue line, which then you could see the Oilers bench. Who's there on the bench? The mustached man himself, Stuart Skinner. So last night, Stuart Skinner,
real thing,
caused my stream to buffer. Just saying.
It's a real thing. A couple days ago, I was trying to watch the game. Me and my roommate were bouncing back between the Colorado game, the Edmonton game. Colorado game, smooth as butter. Runs great, no problems. Edmonton, couldn't watch more than 10 or 15 seconds without buffering. It was ridiculous. So I had to keep asking kind of, what's going on? What did I miss? Did they score? Stupid. Stuart Skinner, get your crap together.
Yeah, make it not buffer, bro. Come on. All right.
Seriously.
Number 4.
Seriously. The number 4 thing.
Jeff.
Did anybody try to order the Switch 2? Because they had some problems this week. Oh, he looks like he's in so much pain. Poor guy's doubled over. Your Switch 2 pre-order, yeah, you paid for it and you pre-ordered it, but you're not getting it on release day. There was unanticipated demand by Nintendo, which can I just put out there? That's just ridiculous. Like, they are the worst as a company. And secretly, Stuart Skinner's the CEO. He's the one making the decisions.
He really is. It's
I understand there's going to be like
right
3 of you that even understand or care about this joke. I know this is a niche joke. It was funny to me, so you have to see it too.
And
number 3, guys.
That's why it's number 3.
This is our show.
This is our show, and we get to make the jokes around here. Number 3, Stuart Skinner is the reason Shadur Sanders fell out of not just the first round, not just the second round, but the first 3 rounds of the NHL draft. NFL draft this week, but also the NHL draft. Both, honestly.
Draft. Yeah.
Like he's not even gonna. He might not get drafted in either draft.
Yeah, I made these during the day yesterday, and when I put this together, I said, it fell out of the first round. There's no shot by the end of tonight after the next 2 rounds. Like, there's no shot he's not going to go drafted. Here we are. The joke is outdated, but it is still more applicable than ever.
Yeah. And just look at that grin on Skinner's face. Look how happy he is. He's even wearing the Santa hat. He's part of the Santa Claus Oiler conspiracy.
I was gonna say, which makes that funnier with that Santa comment that you made. Number 2. Low hanging fruit.
Of
very
conspiracies.
Easy.
Yeah.
9/11.
9/11.
Come on, Stu. Come on, man.
You see a little bit of guilt in his face. Who knows what it's for? Maybe he only meant for them to hit 1 tower, not 2. Who knows? But.
Yeah. That went a little farther than he thought it would. So.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
I'm glad you saw the same thing in his face that I did when I found that photo. Just like, that went a little farther.
The best part is he was only like 3 years old at the time too. So this, like,
that sounds about right.
This guy's a mastermind. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he put it together, and then died, and then he was reincarnated as a goalie, so that nobody would suspect him.
Yeah. No.
You look like you buy that. Number 1, Kynan.
Stuart
the number
Skinner,
1 thing.
That is Stuart Skinner's fault. It is his fault that the Pope died.
This was the first one that I had the idea for too.
Yeah.
And I knew it. I have to take that JD Vance photo.
Yep. And then it's just like, oh, sorry.
So bad.
It's his time, I guess. Sorry, guys. Nothing I can do.
Oh, that's so dumb. I wish I didn't laugh so much during this segment, but some of these, they're so dumb that I love them.
Yep.
And our
It's
plus
that-
one, our extra attacker today, ladies and gentlemen, everything. He doesn't
it's
even know
just
which side of the
everything.
net to play on. This has been 5+1. Or Skinner. Yes, enlarge that. Dude doesn't even know which side of the net to play. Oh, that explains
Poor
so
guy.
much.
Poor guy.
Oh, that explains so
so
much.
so unfounded, so unfair. But that's hockey, baby.
Yes.
All right. Well,
We have 8 playoff series going. None of them are over yet.
I mean, none of them have played enough games to be over yet, but that could change today.
Could change today. Unfortunately, probably will change today.
Ottawa, Toronto.
Oh, Toronto. Yes. I am surprised.
Me too.
I think most of us outside of Ottawa probably expected Toronto to win. Yes, I know the meme Toronto, but Boston's not there to take them out.
Or Florida.
I thought Ottawa would put up more of a fight for this.
I mean, most of their games have gone to overtime.
Yeah.
To be fair.
And they've got they'll play a couple of minutes where they look like a really good competent team, but out of a 60-minute game, when you're 45 50 minutes of it, you're just getting outplayed and outskated. They just don't look good. They don't look comfortable.
Well,
except for Kachuk. I mean, give him credit as much as I don't want to. He's been looking great out there pretty much always.
Well, and even here's my question: how much of it is Ottawa not looking good versus Toronto looking so good? Like they look like they don't want to go play golf.
Yeah.
Which is very different. They do not look like normal playoff Toronto.
Yeah.
Like by this time of the year, they look like they're ready to hit the course.
Pretty much.
Go to the clubhouse.
And that's the question too. Is it Toronto playing up or is it Ottawa playing down, making Toronto look good? Who knows? Maybe both.
I think it's both.
But Toronto's up 3-0. We're in danger of the sweep. They do play today. I think that one's one of the earlier games of the day too, if I remember correct. No, it's tonight. Oh, you get the little broom there.
Little keyboard broom.
Yep, that could be a sweep. I think that would be the only 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. Yeah, everything else is 2-1.
Yeah, it's the only thing left that could be a sweep.
Yeah.
Or I guess Florida Tampa could still be a sweep technically.
Oh yeah. That could be.
Which that would be insane. That one should not be a sweep.
Yeah.
They, because I mean, Tampa Bay, like you've written down here, has been looking good despite the score lines.
Yeah. They're running their plays. They're getting everything done. They're taking good shots, making good hits. Everything's looking really good. If you just watch the game and you don't look at the score sheet, Tampa looks like they're a well put together team and they're playing their game well. It's the usual Florida crap that they get away with all the time. They're taking cheap shots that aren't getting called. You get a big scrum. Kachuk will sit there and punch somebody in the mouth 4, 5, 6 times. Nothing happens. But as soon as somebody retaliates, now all of a sudden that's a major penalty because how dare you touch Kachuk? It's the usual crap that happens with Florida. That's the only reason they're ahead in this series.
They've perfected the gamesmanship, man.
Yeah. That and in playoff Bob.
Bobby. Yeah. I do think someone needs to tell Florida that they were not playing a couple of home games. Just because they're in Florida does not mean it was a home game. And so you got to tell Tampa that too. Like, hey, you're still in Florida. You could treat this like a home game now that we're going back into Sun Beach, Miami.
Why not? Just act.
Not Sun Beach, Sunrise. What am I saying?
Sunrise, yeah.
Sunrise.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but
everything the sun touches is Kachuk's kingdom.
Just don't say stuff like that. Disgusting. But yeah, that one's looking pretty bad right now for Tampa fans. I'm really hoping they can come back, at least make something of it today because they're playing today.
They will. They'll win today. They can't.
Yeah.
They won't. They will not go down 3-0. No chance. No chance.
Montreal, Washington.
Washington.
Credit where due to Kynan. I don't know if you talked about it here or if it was when we were doing our brackets.
Both.
Probably both. I completely wrote Montreal off. I said there is no shot. They are terrible. I still think they're going to lose, but they're playing a lot better than I expected. They are looking very, very good. They looked scary in game 2.
Yeah, they got over their playoff rookie jitters and are already cooking.
Yeah.
Demidov's cooking. Slavoski's cooking. Suzuki. Caulfield.
Yeah.
Hudson.
They're I've been impressed
cooking.
with him. Yeah.
He's so good.
I still think they
gosh.
lose the series. Ovechkin just defying father time. Dude refuses to be. He's laying hits, showing these kids where their place in the world is.
Drinking Pepsi, drinking Coke.
Goal. He is having his way.
Yeah. Mom said I had to eat and drink healthy to be good, but Ovechkin's like, no, you just have to be Russian. Be Russian bulldog. You have to have the bands to make her dance. Chicky.
Well, if it's up to Ovechkin, he'll tell everybody you need to be drinking Coke out of your water bottle on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Which I find
that's
that
the type of stuff they did 50 years ago.
That's what he's doing now.
Like he's doing everything short of a smoke break on the bench.
Yeah. And I love that about him. He's just like, I don't care about your modern medicine. I'm going to do it the way that's comfortable for me, and I'm just that good. I can respect that.
Yeah. I mean, when you don't have to skate super fast anymore to score goals, you can get away with it.
Well, and one thing I've been noticing a couple times too, and if anybody watches his channel, shout out to Hockey Psychology for this one. But he pointed this out the other day. I said, I have been noticing that without being able to verbalize it. Ovechkin, throughout most of his career, he'll come into the zone. He's on that left side, and he sits in what they call Ovechkin's office, and he'll sit there, wait for the pass, one-timer it in. He scored the record-breaking goal on this type of play, and then he scored 2 or 3 goals in the playoffs like this. But he's hanging back in the neutral zone. And instead of coming up into the office, he's hanging back in the neutral zone, letting everybody get in and get established, and then exploding in with the little bit of speed that old man has. By the time he gets there, he's already got that head of speed, and he's got even more behind that shot, and it's working for him.
Well, it's shots. One of the key things about shooting to score a goal is all about your timing of your shot, so that you're in the right, so that it goes to the right spot at the right time based off of the goalies and everything. But he's transferred that into also his movement and his positioning. It's not just a shot he's perfected the timing of. It's getting to a shot that he's perfected. And that's why he's able to still be effective, because he doesn't just go to one place and wait there and hope no one covers him. He's all the subtle things he's got figured out and is good at and can just do like nobody else. And that's why he's able to keep doing it at this age.
Yep, and because he's hanging back in that neutral zone for so long, the defense doesn't want to hang out in the neutral zone. So by the time he's coming in, he's undefended, and it gives him that little bit of extra time to just stay open. It's really cool to watch. So as you're watching other games, pay attention to that and see if you can see that. As we're looking at the ice, if they're shooting to the right of the screen, it'll be the top of your screen. It'll probably be the easiest way to see it. But watch them kind of as they're going into the offensive zone. Watch them hang back a little bit and then try to explode in. Really interesting.
Yeah. It's back to kind of the other stuff of the game quickly. I have no good segue for this. In game 2, the reason Washington won was because of Thompson. Like, Ovechkin's been playing really good, but Thompson absolutely stole the game for them in game 2.
Absolutely.
But now Washington did a great job thanking him for it in game 3 by absolutely trucking him, just bulldozing, steamrolling him after Slafkovsky scored his first career playoff goal. Slafkovsky did this great move, and the Washington player just decked him and kind of slightly ran him into the post too. Thompson left the game. Both Montembeault and Thompson left the game. The E-bug was cited, but did not have to play. So
Okay,
that's a
I missed
big
that.
concern for Washington.
Do we have any update on that?
I have not seen anything, but I also haven't really
Let me
looked
see here.
because I only saw the results during
Oh, jeez.
watching the Oilers game.
Get the Yeah. I just pulled up the article on the NHL website. Headline: Montembeault leaves for Canadians, Thompson for Capitals. Montreal goalie replaced by rookie Dobes in second. Lindgren enters for Washington in third. But as I'm just quickly skimming, I combined rookie and Dobes or Dobies or Dobes or whatever the heck his name is,
Dubé.
and somehow ended up with Montreal goalie replaced by Dookie.
Huh.
So we're just gonna put that out there.
And we're just gonna leave it like that. Yeah.
Next, please.
We're gonna pretend like we're gonna talk about it. New Jersey, Carolina. Snooze fest.
It's so
It's-
unexciting to me. Last
Yeah.
night's game was good.
Well, when you go to double overtime, it's always good.
Exactly, yeah.
But Canes in 5. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, just real quick. The only thing I'm seeing, Thompson was not out there for optional skate this morning.
That's not
So
surprising.
yeah, exactly. But that's the only news that I'm seeing. But yeah, New Jersey, Carolina. We knew the Devils were just outmatched.
When
They're
you don't
playing
have
above
either Hughes brothers.
exactly. I think they're definitely punching above their weight class here and there. They've had a couple of good plays, couple of good runs here and there in a couple of these games where they're definitely looking better than expected, but it only lasts for a couple minutes. I'll be honest, I'm surprised they were even able to win one. If any of them were going to be a sweep, I figured this was going to be it. I mean, Carolina's just going to run the table with what's left. Carolina's up 2-1. I fully expect a 4-1 finish in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just overall been a boring series for me. You got any notes on that one? Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, Winnipeg, St. Louis.
This one's been very interesting to watch.
Yeah. This has been. Let me just take another double check. I mean, this has been one of the top two, in my opinion, like evenly matched series, which has been really weird.
I wouldn't
Winnipeg is
say
up.
evenly matched per se. I wouldn't totally say that. But continue.
Okay. Yeah, Winnipeg's up 2-1. I fully expected Winnipeg was just going to mop the floor with St. Louis, but they're hanging tough. They are looking good. I don't like that they're looking good, but they're looking good. I still think Winnipeg's going to pull it out. This one might go all 7, and I'm okay with that because it's always fun watching Jordan Binnington throw temper tantrums and start beating people up and then wondering why he's getting called for penalties.
Yeah. He's like, what did I do? What did
Yeah,
I do?
it's like, dude, you just punched the dude in the back of the head 4 times right in front of a ref. Like, what do you mean? What did you do?
Oh, other people
I think
get away
he's
with
one
it.
of the. I will put him on the same level as Matthew Tkachuk, as one of the biggest whiners in the league. Like, dude, just I can't stand that guy.
Yeah. I can stand him when he's winning the 4 Nations for me, but other than that, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I watched all of game 1 and I've watched parts of the other 2 games. Winnipeg, when they're not letting the pressure of needing to win because get to them, they outclass St. Louis. St. Louis does not stand a chance. It's not even close. Winnipeg should totally have this series. The 2 things that are the biggest question for me is, can Winnipeg not let the aversion to overplaying or going too far and thus overcorrecting get to them? And
Interesting.
can Hellebuck show up in the playoffs for once.
Yeah.
And I should say for once, he once upon a time did, but the last couple of years he has not. And you can go back to the same argument I give to Skinner. Is his team showing up? And I think a large part of that has been there because Hellebuck's an elite goalie, and so even when he's bad, he's still good.
Yeah.
But and Winnipeg is good enough to win this series without elite Hellebuck. But if they want to go all the way, Hellebuck needs to figure out his elite status for when his team has their nervous breakdowns. Because Winnipeg just is not calm enough and confident enough in the playoffs yet to get the job done long term. St. Louis had a great game 3, but they were back home. They were determined not to go down 0-3. I think Winnipeg's got this. I think it's Winnipeg in 6 at this moment. If I had to give something,
St. Louis take one more.
Yeah, I think they just alternate wins from here. I think Winnipeg wins today, and St. Louis wins Game 5, and Winnipeg wins Game 6. I think that's how it goes.
So the next 3, it's going to be the road team.
It's either going to be the road team or St. Louis ties it. Like it's Winnipeg's going to win 2 out of the next 3. It's either they win tonight, or if they lose tonight, they'll win the next 2. That's
okay.
Like either way, it's going to be in 6. That's my call.
That's fair. Yeah, and I'm just looking at the series here. I mean, Winnipeg 5-3 over St. Louis, pretty even game. 2-1 over St. Louis, okay, pretty even game. St. Louis 7-2.
Yeah, like St. Louis just fed on the home ice. Winnipeg just let the nerves get to them. But the thing is, when that happens to you, it becomes easier to deal with it the next time.
Yeah. And it's just hard for me to expect because Winnipeg scoring 2 goals, that's about in line where they've been. Giving up 7, it's hard for me to believe that St. Louis took that much of a jump. So I think your analysis might be on there, where it's less about St. Louis jumping and all of a sudden looked really good, and more Winnipeg just, we're afraid to lose, and now the pressure's on because we're 2-0. So that could be it.
St. Louis has to hope that Winnipeg does not bring their best, because best versus best out of both teams, Winnipeg wins 10 out of 10.
Yep. I agree with that. Colorado, Dallas.
Ooh, boy.
This has been a fun one.
This one's getting spicy.
This one has been a fun one. I knew Dallas was a good team. I did not expect
they don't even have their best 2 players.
Yeah, that was the part that surprised me. I thought Heiskanen had come back. I didn't realize he's still out.
He's traveled with the team back to Colorado, to Colorado. So he's with the team. It's unlikely he'll play, but he's traveling with the team. Robertson's not
there. Yeah.
So he's
Dallas,
close.
Their 2 best players gone. 2-1 in favor of Colorado. I thought this was I didn't think it was going to be such a steamroll. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah, Avs 5-1, Dallas and OT 4-3, Dallas and OT 2-1. So they've won 2 overtime games. So maybe that's the key. Just get Colorado to overtime, tire them out a little bit. Dallas is surprising me. Again, I knew they were a good team. I didn't think this was going to be a steamroll, but I didn't think Dallas was going to be able to go up 2-1 in this series.
Well, and what's
I
huge
thought that's
to me,
so little that I just made the mistake of saying Colorado's up 2-1.
Well, because that's the thing, and that was the biggest thing to me. Dallas won Game 3 in Colorado the night that Gabe Landeskog makes his return to the lineup in front of the home. Like, if Colorado cannot win on that night, they cannot win the series. I'm sorry. There's no chance. No chance if you cannot win on such a huge, emotional, like big moment, meaningful night that you are going to win the series. I'm sorry. Maybe you can use it as the fuel to get you the win. I don't know. But to me, that's not like.
Let me put a little bit of extra context to back that statement up. Had they scored 5 goals, gone to overtime, and lost, okay, I'd say you were wrong in that. you should win that game with all that emotion, but like you still scored 5 goals. That's a big deal. Captain comes back, they scored 1.
Because they are a two-man team. They've got McKinnon, they got McCarr. Sure, they've got Natchez, they got Taves. Blackwood's been playing great, for sure.
Mhm.
But they don't have the depth of Dallas. Dallas is going to just keep rolling their lines, keep rolling them at you.
Yeah.
Colorado, when they won the Cup, they won it because they were so deep. They could roll all their lines at you and be dangerous. They're not that way right now. I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, like you said, I mean, being a two-man team, Dallas has done very, very well at slowing those two down. On one hand, you'd think
Without
3
their
goals
two best
from McKinnon and McCarr combined looks pretty good in 3 games. But on the other hand, if you're a two-man team and that's all you've got, and you've held those two to 3 goals and 3 assists combined, and that's all they have, that ain't good, homeboy.
Well, yeah, and then you've got Ottinger playing super well. Like game 1, yeah, they scored 5 goals. One of those was an empty net.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
most of those were fluky goals. That's the thing. Like Ottinger, yeah, he let in 4 goals. The paper stats don't make him look that great.
Yeah.
But the first
Some of
2
them are
or
weird.
3, the first 2 for sure, and I think the third one as well. Very fluky, very odd.
Yeah.
Very, very lucky goals for Colorado. So that's not a reflection on the Otter. And
No.
playoff Ottinger is awesome.
Yeah.
And I think he's back at it in games 2 and 3. So like it still could go. This could still. I very much could see this series still going 7 games.
Oh yeah. At least 6. I don't think Colorado won't win one more.
They got to win one at home. They got it. So they got it. They got to win tonight.
That'll be tonight. But yeah, I think for me, behind Montreal, Dallas is the most surprising team in the first round so far to me. Just from what I expected to where they're actually at. Because again, I knew they were going to be good, but they are just so much better than I expected against Colorado. Maybe I fell in for some, because the media loves Colorado. Let's be real here. Maybe I fell for some of that. Maybe I did.
Possibly.
Minnesota, Las Vegas.
I know this is the one that's surprising me more.
Nobody.
Vegas just
see this
sucked.
Yeah. As much as I've been high on Minnesota, nobody saw this coming. Minnesota's up 2-1. Pull this up here. Both the games that Minnesota won were 5-2 total, or 5-2 finals. Like we talked about earlier, Kirill Kaprizov in the leadership, scoring wise and points wise in the playoffs. They are doing so well. I think Vegas is the better team. They're the more talented team. They're the deeper team. But Minnesota is doing very, very well. And this is why I respect them as a team. Because when I was playing sports as a kid, I grew up playing basketball. And every time you turn on ESPN, you're watching Sports Center, and it's look at what this superstar did, and look at the highlight reel. And my dad used to hate that. And I'd be like, why do you hate that? It was such a good play. He said, yeah, it was a good play. But for every one of those he's making, he's missing 5 other plays that he could have made. And he just shut up and quit trying to make the highlight reel and play fundamental ball. That's what Minnesota's doing. And my dad instilled that attitude in me from a very young age, and I've always had a lot of respect for that. So when I see teams or I see players just get down to the basics, quit trying to be fancy, and just play fundamental basketball, play fundamental hockey, I respect that a lot, and I love seeing it. And that's what I think Minnesota's doing the best at right now. They understand they're outgunned. Let's just play together as a team. We know what our game plan is. Let's stick to our game plan. Let's back each other up. Let's do the right things. Let's not allow them to get us on our back foot or get us off our game. Let's just play the way we know how to play.
Exactly. I wouldn't say they're outgunned necessarily. Like when they're healthy, they have very good, very deep team. And that's how you kind of got to be to beat Vegas so handily. Yeah. Like even in game 1, it was really a 3-2 game because the 4th goal for Vegas was an empty net power play goal. So it's like that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. It was a 3-2 game, very close game, very competitive, all that jazz, and just Matt Boldy's been so good. Kirill Kaprizov's just dialed in. Like, he's doing complex things simply. Like, he's both combining the highlight reel aspect and the things you were saying with playing simply.
Yeah.
His saucer passes are just silky, smooth.
Once I can find out how to play video without getting copyright strikes, we're going to go back and I don't even care if it takes 2 years. We're showing that one saucer pass. I think we're thinking of the same one. It was disgusting. Probably the best saucer pass I've ever seen.
I'm thinking of multiple.
Yeah.
He's like, and Gustafson's been playing great. You've got just everything's going so well for Minnesota. We'll see about tonight, but they stole a game in Vegas and then they won one at home. So now Vegas, it's just they're not.
Vegas is on the back foot. Less, I mean, yeah, they're down in the series, but I think Vegas expected this to be a cakewalk, and I think that might be part of why they're on their back foot so much, and I think the pressure's now going to start getting to them. So this could snowball out of control for Vegas.
They got to wake up. If they don't wake up, they have to win today, or Minnesota's got it. I just like this is the do or die game in my mind.
Yep. Well, I agree, and it's wild to me. No pun intended.
Well, maybe a little intended.
Maybe a little bit. But I'll always have respect for Vegas. As you can see, I'm wearing the Vegas gear today. They were my first NHL game. Always have love for Vegas for that.
Mm-hmm.
I may have to get myself a Kaprizov jersey at some point. I'm not a Minnesota fan necessarily, but I am such a Kaprizov fan.
You should. I mean,
dude didn't play in Four Nations, so I can't get his Four Nations jersey.
I mean, the Wild have a really nice jersey, though.
I do like some.
Those are some nice jerseys. Let's be honest here.
Yeah. Let's look at some of these.
Oh, I've got it ready right here.
You got it pulled up. Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this sweater.
Yeah.
That is a hockey sweater right there.
It is. I'm not a big fan of the bright one that they have. The white and gold one. Not a big fan of that.
Fair enough. But this,
even
like,
their white one,
I would own a jersey like this.
Oh,
I would totally own a jersey like that.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Like, and their logo is just so cool with being the bear head, but it's made out of the wilderness.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so cool. I've always thought their logo is really cool.
It is. May have to do that. But anyway. Yeah, Minnesota surprising everybody. I think whoever wins tonight's game will win the series. Like you said, if Minnesota wins it, I think they're just going to roll. That'll be a 3-1 lead for them. If Vegas wins it, I think that's going to show me that they were able to put off that pressure and just say, you know what, okay, fine, we're behind, but let's get it together. So I think tonight's winner wins that series. Our last series. No, I didn't save this for last out of bias. I literally went down the order of the way they were listed on NHL's homepage.
I know.
I'm telling everybody else, not you.
I know.
I don't know what to think of this series anymore.
As for defense, there is none. There is no defense.
Yeah.
You do. And like, okay, so Edmonton, I think this is probably the biggest storyline. Los Angeles is giving Edmonton the Edmonton treatment of the past 3 years. Edmonton's power play percentage the last 3 years has been like, it was a 35% the first year, 55 the second year, and 45 the third year. Power play success. LA is 7 for 12 on the power play. The Oilers cannot kill a penalty to save their bleeping lives.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like everything's going right. And the thing is, LA is getting so many more power plays. Before tonight, LA had 10, Edmonton had 5. Both teams got 2 power plays last night. Both teams scored on their power plays, so they both went 2 for 2. So that was a moot point.
Yep.
If the refing has been stupid. It's been
Can I
so
just
stupid.
interject for 2 seconds? That interference call against Jake Wallman last night was literally the weakest call. I am willing to write this down and I will sign it. That was the weakest call I have ever seen in an NHL hockey game in my entire life.
And I'm gonna be fully upright. Edmonton has been very undisciplined in this series. I completely respect it. But the things that both teams are getting away with is stupid. Both Edmonton and LA. And we're getting away with crap. They're getting away with a ton of crap. But the stuff that gets called is just, half of it doesn't make any sense. Like, why that?
Yeah. And this is my biggest gripe with playoff hockey in the NHL. I am all for, let's be a little bit more selective with what we call, let the boys play a little bit. Let's get some more intense hockey. I'm all for it. But it's the inconsistency of what is called and what isn't called. And then, like you said, it's like these two dudes literally cut each other's head off with their hockey stick, and we're just going to let them play. But then somebody breathed in the same vicinity as another player, and that's a 5-minute penalty, like a game misconduct for egregious interference. What are we doing here? It needs to be consistent. And if that means we need to write a new set of rules for the playoffs to allow certain things, then we need to write a new set of rules. That's fine. But some of this is just getting ridiculous.
Idea. That's an interesting idea.
Yeah, because that way at least it's written down instead of just use your judgment, just let some things go, you know?
So do you remember earlier in the year when you were talking about how the refs just seem worse this year? And I was like, no, it's just you're following it more closely. It's not actually that bad, blah, blah, blah. So I have to retract a little bit of that because I did find out this week that the amount of penalties called this year was at an all-time low. And it has been going down steadily over the last number of years. Now, is this because players are getting more disciplined and not playing as dirty?
Let's be real.
Oh, hell no. None.
No shot.
None of that. It's the way that the league is training refs is causing there to be less penalties called. And there's just a lot of younger, less experienced refs that are just being thrown into these situations and done this. And so the reffing is actually getting worse. I actually heard some stats that supported that. So I had to give credit where credit is due. And you were right. There, I don't take back everything I said.
Sure.
Because I do think it's not all that, but there is a large element now that has been shown to me that it's that, and it's being shown here. And I think the way that calls are being made, both penalties on the ice and reviews, caused there to be what could be the turning point in the series last night. Were you aware of the goalie interference challenge from the LA bench?
I was eating. I was at a restaurant, so I couldn't hear what was being challenged. But I assumed that's the only thing I could think of. But what are we challenging? You just had a review. Like, what are we doing here?
So let me paint this out for you. In that game, Evander Kane had just scored to tie the game. It was 4-4. They had spent a buttload of time reviewing it because the puck had been kicked. Kane had kicked it, and they had to check, did it hit anything before going into the net, or was it kicked into the net? Because if it was kicked into the net, no goal. Kane, to his credit, after kicking it, knowing he'd kicked it, did everything he could to make sure he got his stick on it before it went in net, and he successfully did.
Yeah.
So there was all that time reviewing, 2 to 3 minutes. LA then called a timeout to review it further to see if they could determine if there was goal interference. So they had at least 4 minutes of time that they were looking for goalie interference on that play. There was none. The only the only time Kane had ever touched the goalie was after being shoved by the LA player, but the contact itself was extremely minimal. So I don't know where you're seeing, what you're considering as a past experience that anything there would have been there, but after having 4 minutes to look at it, they then challenged it. Every power play that game had been scored on. Edmonton just tied it up. They had the crowd. They had the momentum. Why on earth would you risk in a tie game, I'd understand if it was a goal to go ahead, if it was a goal to go up 5-4. But to tie it 4-4, if you're wrong, Edmonton is going to score on that power play. And it took them a grand total of like 3 seconds on that power play.
Stupid like that, yeah.
What are you doing? If Edmonton wins
bad.
this series, that is the moment it changed and switched, and LA lost.
I agree. And the only thing that I can think of, because I did think about this a little bit last night after, because it made no sense to me. I don't even think this is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not even trying to defend it. But the only thing I could possibly come up with is the Kings were looking at that and saying, if we can pull off this challenge successfully, it's going to completely deflate this team. And they have a little bit of momentum. It'll get rid of that momentum. That's the only thing I could possibly think of as a reason why. Because he kicked it into the goal was a far more winnable argument.
But the league reviewed that. They didn't even have to challenge that.
I know.
That was being reviewed.
But what I'm saying is that was a more winnable argument than the goaltender interference. And so if you lost that one, there's no shot you go for goaltender interference. Not only did you waste your challenge and give up the power play, you also wasted your timeout. I mean, they literally couldn't have done anything stupider in that sequence of events.
More stupid, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, exactly.
On me. Yeah.
Yes.
Yellow card.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that gave Edmonton the momentum they need. I fully believe tomorrow that it's going to be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be a close game tomorrow. Now that Edmonton knows what it's like to win against LA this year, if they can get their crap together.
If they can kill a bleeping penalty.
Well, if they can kill a penalty, but even give up 100% of penalties, I'm okay with that. Can we just please put Evan Bouchard on the Blue Origin rocket and send him to space and not let him come home?
He did stuff last night. He did things last night.
He gave up the first 2 games. I don't care if he redeemed himself last night.
Hey,
I'm so sick and tired of Bouchard.
Look, he hasn't. He's been.
Can't argue that.
I can, because he's been without his poppy, his Viking compadre, his comrade in arms, Matthias Ekholm, essentially all year, because Ekholm's been struggling with an injury all year. And Ekholm was what helped calm Bouchard down, helped him smarten up, coach him, teach him, helped cover up for his occasional mess up. He hasn't had his helper. And
which is a fair point.
He's still a young defenseman, and when you're struggling with some confidence like he clearly has been this year, and you don't have your guy that's been mentoring you, you're gonna have a hard time. And he's got to be better. There's no question about that, especially with how much he's gonna want to be paid. I think he can get there. I think he's had a rough year. I think he'll still improve. But yeah, he's got to be better.
Yeah.
He's just
here's my counterpoint to that, because I think it's a good point, but my counterpoint to that is, if the only way that you're serviceable as a player is if we have somebody else out there to basically coach you, why are we even putting up with that?
Because
why don't we go get somebody else?
How it works.
Why don't we go get somebody else that might be elevated by the presence of Ekholm, but isn't reliant on Ekholm to be even serviceable?
Because
I'm okay with if your line mate
how do you get such a person?
Worse without you. That makes sense. That is a team sport, like you said. But if you are absolute dog water, if a certain player is off the ice, you can't rely on that player. What if Ekholm retires tomorrow? What if he gets injured like we've seen this year? What if we traded him? What if he decided to sign somewhere else? What if he dies in a car wreck tomorrow? We can't be relying on, we have this player that's only pretty good only when this other player is also on the ice.
Because that's how development works. And Bouchard can be that guy. And it's it's about teaching someone and helping them develop so that they can fulfill their potential. And like,
And I think that's where our
Bouchard can
disagreement
be that guy.
I
'Cause he can
disagree,
be
and
that
I
guy.
think that's where the disagreement is.
And that's fair.
I don't see the potential.
But well, who else are you gonna get? How are you gonna find someone better? Okay,
I mean,
that's
Utah was
that's
able to go pick up Ole Mata, and nobody had heard of him, and he killed it. I mean, there are underrated defensemen out there.
I don't think you. A lot of people don't understand the actual value of Bouchard. Carolina was willing to trade Rantanen for Bouchard
And I don't know why they didn't do it.
because Bouchard is so the skills he does have and the things he does do. A puck moving defenseman like Bouchard,
It moves it to the other team.
Rare. Oh, yes, he does do that. But when he's not, when he moves it to our team, his ability to do that, and when he's not struggling with the confidence and doing the smart plays and doing correct things, it's quite elite. And
I mean, I hope you're right. I really do.
The thing is, he's not, obviously, he is not a defensive defenseman.
Yeah.
No one's pretending like he is.
Mm-hmm.
You want him to be better on the defensive side, and he has made great strides, and he has made great improvements. He also gets about the most minutes of anyone and is playing against the best players. He's going to make mistakes, and they're going to cause him to make mistakes. There are some he should not make. Absolutely. He is still young. He is still learning. It takes defensemen longer. He is not going to be a Cale Makar. He is not going to be a Norris Trophy winning defenseman, but he is going to be a top-tier defenseman. He already is in a lot of respects. And you're not going to find someone better in an affordable way that makes your team better.
I really hope you're right. I don't see any of it, but I really hope you're right.
And that's fine. You're not going to find... He is a top pairing defenseman with downsides, like most top pairing defensemen.
I mean, sure.
I'd rather have him over a lot of other defensemen in the league. And the thing is, you'd have to change the identity of your makeup in a lot of respects to find someone else to fit in, because he has the chemistry and he plays the way that makes some of our other players better. When you forget, on the defensive side, with some of the giveaways and some of the mistakes he makes, those are things you can clean up. Those are things you can improve, but that takes time. And
hopefully,
that's where the mentorship and the development comes in. That's why you need to have, especially for defensemen, you need to have the ability to train and to coach them, both on and off the ice. You have rare instances of people like Makar who are just going to come in and be amazing. But the most part, you have to have the mentorship and development, especially for defensemen. That's just my take.
Like I said, I hope you're right.
Cry hometown perspective all you want. That's just fine.
Yeah. There's absolutely that there.
But I look at what happens. To me, the principle of development and mentorship is universal in sports.
Yeah. No, and I'm never going to take that away. There's definitely a part of that. I'm willing to admit maybe I'm just short-term frustrated with him, but I don't know how short-term it is because it's been multiple years that I've been frustrated with him.
So
like I said, I really, really hope you're right, because he's got that really nice booming shot from the outside, but it's like, this team doesn't need another shooter. We need defense. I mean, that's what it comes down to, and he's just not doing it.
Well, he does. He does. It's just his mistakes when he doesn't are very blaringly obvious.
Yeah, and they're not small mistakes.
No, and that's why he's got to clean up more of those. They're never going to go all away, because even the best defensemen have those, because the best defensemen play against the best players.
Sure.
And have the most minutes.
Oh yeah.
There's just got to be less, and it has gotten better, but we got to keep in mind defensemen take longer. This is the first season where he's actually had enough games to actually have some decent experience. You need to have a lot of games. Defensemen, it said, you don't even know what kind of a defenseman you're going to have out of someone until they've played at least 200 games, they say. and he
He's
only
been
just
what?
passed that.
This is his 3rd year, 4th year, something like that.
I think might be 3rd full year, 4th year.
Somewhere in
I'll
that range.
double check here, but yeah. So his first full year was 4 years ago. So this was his 4th full year. So this was the first year that we can start to, hope for some more reliability. But his confidence was down this year prior to last year. Like last year was much better. This year he struggled with some confidence issues. Players are going to have up and down years.
Yeah.
But So we'll see.
I'm willing to give you that if we start seeing the improvement. I think the biggest thing is they have to. I think they need to go to him and tell him, look, we're willing to work with you, but I think they need to tighten the leash a little bit.
And there's definitely been some arguments there for the accountability, but we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, numbers. Just if you're just pure numbers wise, last season was better, but not by a ton. So that's an interesting look.
Well, points wise, what numbers specifically?
Yeah, I mean, goals, assists, points, penalty minutes, exactly the same.
Well, the plus minus was a big difference, but a lot of that has to do with the injuries. Like the Oilers weren't as good this year in their goal differential because of all our injuries.
Exactly, yeah.
And the first 2 games of the playoffs showed how rusty the players coming back from injury are, but Game 3 showed, hey, now that they're starting to get back up to speed. Vander Kane was great. John Klingberg was much better than he's been. I actually might have some belief in him being an actual member of our
I remember
D-line
when
now.
they got him, you were not happy about it.
I was like, we don't need another injured player. Trent Frederick needs, I don't know. We've scratched Jeff Skinner the last 2 games. I don't know why I'm sorry. Trent Frederick is not healed. He is not ready to go. High ankle sprains take too long to heal. He's not.
No. He's going to be, I stand by my comment that he is going to be one of the biggest things that the biggest right things that Edmonton has done in recent memory. But
not this year.
When he's healed. And if you're just rushing him in there, it's going to do longer term damage to him, and it's not going to help you in the short term either. So yeah, I agree with you. They need to sit him and let him heal up. But
we'll see. Anywho, enough on them.
Anyway,
I won last week in our predictions.
You did.
I won the first 2 as well. I went up 2-0. You had to reverse sweep, which was you won the 3rd thing. So I was correct with the Winnipeg St. Louis with predicting at least 5 goals. And it was 5 on the dot. There was exactly 5 goals. So
yeah,
I'm kind of a big deal. I predicted Colorado winning the first game. I just kind of knew. We were both. You did get the goals for the Carolina.
I did.
Game.
Yep.
And then Ottawa, we were both
Toronto,
wrong.
We both took Ottawa game 1.
Wait, but who won the? Well, it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter about who won the game since we both picked the same person. It's about the goals. How many goals were there? This could change things for you.
I don't think it can.
No, actually, no, it can't. But I still want to know because I want you. If you got it right. Okay, there were 8 goals. There were 8 goals in that, and you. Okay, so that's.
Well, who won? It was Toronto won, but how many goals did Toronto have? Because we picked the tiebreaker was how many goals are the winning team going to have?
Oh, I thought it was
not how many goals
the
total.
Combined team had. Combined had.
Was it? I don't remember.
I remember it being how many goals there would be combined.
Okay. Then these may all be wrong. Maybe I did win. I don't know.
Well, it's still. Yeah. Okay. Let's.
Well, yeah. We're doing it live, folks.
We're doing it live. Well, I mean, the first one will only be more than 5, so I'll still win that one. I'll still win the first 2 regardless. For Ottawa,
Carolina.
For the Carolina one, game 1, there was 5 goals total. So that one actually.
So we tied then.
Yeah, because it's without going over, right? It
They're
was
going over.
closest to without. So that one is there. So that's a tie. For the Toronto Ottawa, there were 8 goals in the game. So you still win. You get a win
I'll
there.
take that. Okay.
And then wait, I think we tie overall because there were 6 goals total in the Vegas
game.
Minnesota game. So you win that one. So it's 2 correct, 2 wrong, and 2 correct and 3 wrong for both of us. Shoot. Dang it.
Really?
Dang it.
Let's see. So you won the first one with a tiebreaker. So you're 0-0-1. Then you won the second one, 1-0-1.
You're speaking very far away from your mic. You're very hard to hear. Sorry.
Your mom's very hard to hear. Both Carolina. New Jersey Devils, Carolina. Who won that one? Did we determine you won that one?
It was Carolina won. Yeah.
Yeah, but how many goals total?
Yeah, it was 5 goals total. So neither of us got it.
Okay, so neither of us got that. So you're you got a 1-0. No, you got a 1-1-1 record there.
And we can't take too much longer. I got to get going soon.
1-2-1. So you have a 1-3-1 record. I've got 0-2.
No, I got 2 right. I got. Well, it's. I think it's tiebreaker when I think you're not. Because the tiebreaker when it was only there because we picked so many of the same team. So instead of picking the team to win, the only way to win that one was by the goals.
Okay, so you're 2-3 then.
Yeah, but you're also 2-3.
Yeah, I'm looking. Interesting. Okay. Hey, we tied first week, guys. Boy, of course we did.
I've never had to convince someone so much that they didn't lose. I've never had to work so hard at that. Like, no, we tied. I swear.
Truth.
Okay.
All right. Tampa Bay, Florida.
Tampa Bay.
Taking Tampa? I'm also taking Tampa.
Okay.
Okay. Vegas, Minnesota.
I'm taking Mini.
Oh boy.
We're doing it again.
Toronto, Ottawa. This could be the only series that may end today.
Yeah. I haven't seen enough from Ottawa. I'm taking Toronto. I hate myself for it.
I'm gonna give Ottawa the chance to avoid the sweep. Dallas, Colorado.
I'm picking Colorado.
Dang it. Winnipeg, St. Louis. Oh, I took Colorado as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've been picking first this whole time. You got it. You got to go once.
That's fair. I'm going to take the Blues on this one, unfortunately.
Okay, good. I was going to take the Jets. I'm taking the Jets.
Okay. Carolina, New Jersey. Carolina, easy.
Yeah.
Washington, Montreal.
Give me the Habs, baby.
Did they win the last game, or was it 2 games ago? They won the last one. So I'm going to give it back to Washington then. And Kings, Edmonton.
Oh, Edmonton.
Do it. Yeah. Easy. Edmonton. I think they've got that momentum now.
Yeah.
So the good news is we do have 3 games we disagreed on.
Yeah, that's enough.
So there will not be a tie. Yeah. Unless one of the games ends in a tie.
which is impossible.
Which is impossible unless the entire stadium blows up.
So,
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been week 20, the Extra Attacker Podcast. Thank you for being here. Go watch the playoff hockey. There is a game that has started already. Get to it. And until then, we'll see you next week.
goodbye.